Yeah, that's perfect. Just gonna have to stick there, so.
Okay.
Is this long?
All right.
Good?
Yeah. Okay, so Amelia, how are you feeling after what just happened in there?
Lots of emotions, lots of mixed emotions, but I'm feeling energized by the supporters who came out tonight and who are supporting my campaign moving forward as a write-in candidate.
What was that like 9-0? Were you expecting that?
You know what? I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. We did not know how the city council would make its decision. I had a lot of support in the room, but that doesn't seem to have affected their opinion at all, so I'm disappointed. I would like to know how they made their decision. But for now, I'm focused on moving my campaign forward as a write-in candidate.
Yeah, exactly. What does that entail, and what's kind of the next steps for you in the next couple weeks?
Well, I'll continue campaigning, continue meeting residents all throughout the city, getting our message out there. And also I have to file some more paperwork by the September 18th deadline. So those are some of the immediate next steps to get ready.
And what needs to be changed about this process so we're not in this situation in the future?
Well, like I said to City Council tonight, it's my opinion that City Council should never decide an election in this manner. The voters should decide who their representatives are and should elect their representatives. And so we need to change our city charter to ensure that if this were to occur again, it's not left to the hands of City Council to make that decision.
Go ahead. Do you think that, you've been to city council meetings in the past, I've seen you here, criticize council members before.
Yes.
Do you think that played a role in how they voted?
If it did, it's disappointing because I completely disagree with what Harry Tyndale said about it being a baton race. The baton is passed to the next elected official coming forward. I think that in our democracy, the voters choose the leaders that they want to see on city council, and they may choose leaders who wish to take the city in a different direction than the previous city council. So the idea that this is a baton passing type of race is an affront, in my opinion, to our democracy.
General election, totally different ballgame because now it's a citywide vote. How does that, is that work in your favor? Does that work against you?
Well, I'm from Knoxville, so I have friends and family and contacts all throughout the city. And I have a lot of people who are fired up, especially after today. And it's my hope that they'll show up on November 7th and write me in on the ballot.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Obviously, it wasn't 9-0, but not only did you come out here, you had a lot of support yelling, kind of got that boost in, and your first talking here was just, what you're going to do next. You guys talk about kind of the results that you're facing with that.
The challenges that I face.
Even just the moxie that you're having right now, because it's not, you're not taking this as a loss. This is, the next step is
well,
right now.
Thanks, Jared. I walked in here today fully expecting the city council to vote against me. And so that is why I'm not surprised and I'm not shaken and I'm ready for the next chapter. Although I hoped that city council would take the time to figure out exactly what all the options are. I was really disappointed tonight to hear that it sounds like we were very close to being within a time frame for a runoff election. If they had moved more quickly the day after the primary, that could have been a possibility. But I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to know what this outcome is going to be and to focus on getting the message out to voters so that they can show up on November 7th and vote for me.
In regards to the 2017 City Council movement,
Yes.
isn't that a political party, and are candidates who get that support from the City Council movement, are they reporting that as in-kind contributions, and is City Council movement reporting where their donations are coming from and where their expenditures are going?
Yes.
Okay. So all those are filed.
The 2017 City Council movement is supported by the People Power PAC.
Okay.
And so you can find all of those campaign financial disclosures under the People Power PAC.
So is that with the state or is that local? The filings?
You would have to talk to an officer with the People Power PAC.
It's a local PAC.
Okay, but do you file locally? Do you file
We
your
file
financial
locally,
disclosures
yes.
locally? Okay, cool.
Amelia, there were about 15,000 people in the 4th District that did not cast a ballot. What is your message to those voters out there as you move forward into November?
Well, I know a lot of people have been have felt underrepresented in city council, have felt that even when they show up and speak and discuss what their needs are and what they would like to see happen in their community, they see a city council who does something completely different. And so there are a lot of people who have lost faith in our political process and our elections, and have lost any sort of faith in whether our elections can produce the change needed to really have an impact on their lives. So my message to them is that's the type of candidate and the type of representative that I hope to be: accountable, accessible, and people-centered. And so I encourage those voters and voters throughout the city to come on November 7th and support me, support a candidate that you can trust on City Council.
And I have just one last thing. You said you came in here tonight not expecting City Council to vote for you.
No.
Why do you think that they did not vote for you tonight?
You would have to ask City Council, but I know that I'm one of the few candidates out of the 30 candidates who ran in the primary election that was critical of some of the decisions that the City Council has made. And so choosing someone who said, I want to carry on the work that you've started, is a much easier choice for them than to choose someone who's challenged them over the past year. And so I didn't expect it. It's disappointing though, because we should want new voices to come in. If we feel like certain points of view are already represented, making space to for other points of view to come in. That's how our democracy should work, but it doesn't currently, and we've got some things that we need to fix to make it a stronger democracy.
Would you have preferred a coin toss?
No.
So you're happy that the council made the decision?
No, I think there's more that they could have done.
So change state law?
No, the state law is about what happens in case of a tie. On a city level, we have an option for a runoff.
So address it in the city ordinance for a runoff.
It can be addressed in the city ordinance. It's going to have to impact the charter, so we do have to have that go up for a vote in 2018.
Right.
But as you listen to Cliff Rogers tonight talk about the timeline, he talked at length about how he knew this was coming. But then he did not take action the day after the election. He began his research, which he presented to us today, notifying us that if they had set the date for the primary today, then possibly we might have made that timeline. But they waited, and so now we do not have the time. So I wish they had acted more quickly last week rather than making plans for Labor Day, perhaps, and taking our democracy seriously.
Is that you think that city council's ignoring the process? You think that's election commission? Or you think they both share the blame?
Both the election commission and city council have a role to play in this.
All right, cool. Thanks.